Farmers across America are losing it, and John Deere is at the center of it all. The company once synonymous with innovation is now under fire with new policies. Farmers are facing a challenge they never anticipated, one that's reshaping how they work and raising concerns across the industry. But how did John Deere lose farmers' trust? Can they recover from the backlash? And what does this mean for the food on your table? What's happening? What most people don't realize is that the name once synonymous with farming freedom is now seen as a symbol of control. John Deere wasn't just a company, it was a movement. From its humble beginnings in 1837, when a blacksmith named John Deere created the steel plow, the company was synonymous with innovation and progress in farming. This revolutionary tool made it easier to till the tough, unforgiving soil of the American Midwest, turning barren land into productive farmland. Farmers hailed John Deere as a partner in their success, and its green and yellow equipment became a staple of fields across the nation. For decades, John Deere embodied reliability, empowering farmers to grow food for a rapidly expanding world. Its machines weren't just tools, they were symbols of independence and ingenuity. Farmers could rely on them, not just to work hard, but to last. Owning a John Deere meant you were part of a legacy, carrying forward the values of self-reliance and determination. But over time, cracks began to form in this relationship. In recent years, John Deere has shifted focus from empowering farmers to controlling them. The company's introduction of advanced technologies initially seemed like another step forward. GPS-guided tractors, smart sensors, and precision farming. Tools promised to make farming more efficient and profitable. However, these same technologies became tools of control, restricting farmers' ability to maintain and repair their own equipment. John Deere's proprietary software and locked systems created a dependency that eroded the trust it once enjoyed. Farmers, who had relied on John Deere for generations, now feel betrayed by the very company they helped build. And this is where the betrayal begins, where independence was traded for profit. So how did a company that once championed farming freedom come to symbolize control? Let's dig deeper into the policies that sparked this controversy. The right to repair. Battle. Imagine owning something but being told you can't fix it. Sounds absurd, right? The right to repair debate is at the heart of this controversy. Farmers invest heavily in their equipment, often spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on tractors, harvesters, and planters. For generations, owning such equipment meant taking pride in maintaining it yourself. Repairs, whether major or minor, were part of the farming culture, an expression of independence and resourcefulness. But with John Deere's modern machines, that independence is gone. The equipment now comes embedded with proprietary software that acts as a gatekeeper. Farmers can no longer diagnose problems or replace parts without accessing this software, something only John Deere certified technicians can do. This means that even simple repairs, like fixing a broken sensor or replacing a battery, require calling in an authorized repair service. The result? Skyrocketing costs and unbearable delays. A problem that once could have been fixed in a few hours now takes days, or even weeks. And the cost isn't just monetary. It's measured in lost time during critical planting or harvesting. Windows. For farmers, time isn't just money, it's survival. John Deere defends these restrictions by arguing that they protect the intellectual property of their software and ensure safety. But farmers see this as a smokescreen. They argue that these policies are less about safety and more about control, forcing them into an endless cycle of dependency on the company. Here's why this matters for you. When the food supply chain is disrupted, we all feel the effects, And this is just the beginning. Farmers are starting to fight back. But before we discuss the fight back, we need to explore how John Deere's control extends beyond inconvenience to a form of economic coercion, the cost of control. Here's where it gets really interesting. John Deere's grip on farmers may be slipping. The consequences of John Deere's restrictive policies aren't limited to individual farmers. They ripple throughout the agricultural industry and beyond. When farmers are forced to endure costly delays and inflated repair fees, the economic impact spreads like a wave. Crops go unplanted or unharvested, leading to decreased supply. This scarcity affects the entire food supply chain, driving up prices for consumers. Take, for example, the delays caused by equipment sitting idle. In one instance, a farmer in Iowa reported losing an entire field of soybeans because his harvester remained broken for 2 weeks during the critical harvest period. The financial loss wasn't just his. It contributed to higher soybean prices, which trickled down to grocery stores and eventually to consumers. The problem is compounded by the lack of affordable alternatives. Farmers facing exorbitant repair, they costs often have no choice but to continue using outdated equipment or take on more debt to finance new purchases. This leaves small farmers at a significant disadvantage, pushing many to the brink of financial collapse. Worse, these policies aren't just hurting farmers, they're damaging John Deere's reputation. Once seen as a partner in the success of America's farmers, the company is now viewed by many as an obstacle. Farmers who once swore by John Deere are exploring alternatives, turning to competitors who offer more flexible repair options and less restrictive policies. The backlash has begun, and it's shaking the foundations of the agricultural industry. But what happens when those who feed the world decide they've had enough? Seeds of resistance. What started as frustration is now a full-blown movement for freedom. The frustration among farmers didn't stay confined to their fields. It grew into a grassroots movement that is now shaking the foundations of agricultural policy. At the heart of this movement is the demand for the right to repair, a call for something that seems so basic, the ability to fix your own equipment. Farmers argue that owning a tractor or harvester should mean owning everything about it, including the software and tools needed for maintenance and repair. This isn't just a convenience issue, it's a fight for independence. Imagine spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a piece of equipment, only to be told that you don't have the right to maintain it on your terms. That's the reality farmers face daily. This growing resistance began as isolated grievances, farmers venting to each other about the challenges of working with John Deere's restrictive policies. But it quickly gained momentum as more farmers realized they were not alone. Organizations advocating for consumer rights and repair freedoms saw an opportunity to amplify these voices, and soon, farmers were part of a larger movement fighting for legislative change, and this leads to an unexpected twist. Farmers aren't just fighting, they're winning. But how do you fight a giant like John Deere? Let's look at the first cracks in its armor. The first victory. In 2022, something happened that changed everything. The fight for the right to repair took a significant leap forward in 2022, when Colorado passed the first agricultural-focused right to repair law in the United States. This landmark legislation requires companies like John Deere to provide diagnostic tools, manuals, and parts to farmers and independent repair shops. It was a monumental victory, proving that farmers' voices could no longer be ignored. Colorado's law set a precedent, inspiring similar legislation in other states. Lawmakers began to see the broader implications of the right to repair debate, recognizing that it wasn't just about farmers. It was about consumer rights, corporate accountability, and economic stability. For farmers, this wasn't just a win, it was validation. After years of feeling silenced and controlled, they saw tangible proof that their struggle could lead to change. Farmers across the country began rallying around this victory, using it as a rallying cry to push for more comprehensive reforms at both the state and federal levels. This was the crack in the armor that gave farmers hope, but the battle was far from over. John Deere and its allies weren't about to go down without a fight. David versus Goliath. But fighting a giant like John Deere isn't just about winning, it's about survival. While Colorado's law was a turning point, it also exposed the lengths to which John Deere and similar corporations would go to maintain control. These companies immediately pushed back, investing heavily in lobbying efforts to block similar legislation in other states. With deep pockets and significant influence, they've managed to slow progress in many areas. John Deere argues that open access to repair tools poses safety risks, increases the likelihood of intellectual property theft, and leads to misuse of equipment. Farmers, however, see these claims as fear-mongering designed to protect profits, not people. They point out that safety concerns can be addressed through training and certification programs, while intellectual property fears are overblown given that most farmers simply want to repair their equipment, not reverse engineer it. For small-scale farmers, the stakes couldn't be higher. They're not just fighting for their right to repair, they're fighting for their livelihoods. The financial strain of delayed repairs, combined with rising equipment costs, has pushed many to the brink of bankruptcy. This isn't just a battle for independence, it's a battle for survival. Yet, despite the odds, farmers are finding ways to take back control. As the fight intensifies, competitors see an opportunity to step in and disrupt John Deere's dominance. Alternatives arise. When one door closes, another opens. And that's exactly what's happening in the tractor market. As John Deere continues to alienate farmers with its restrictive policies, competitors are stepping in to fill the void. Companies like Kubota, AGCO, and CNH Industrial are gaining ground by offering more farmer-friendly solutions. Kubota, for example, has found success with its versatile compact tractors, which are particularly appealing to smaller-scale farmers. These machines are not only more affordable, but also come with repair policies that empower owners to maintain their equipment independently. For farmers who feel shut out by John Deere, Kubota's approach offers a breath of fresh air. AGCO, the maker of brands like Fendt and Massey Ferguson, has taken a similar approach. By prioritizing farmer autonomy and offering transparent repair procedures, AGCO has managed to win over a growing number of disillusioned John Deere customers. Their equipment is competitively priced, and their repair tools are more accessible, making them an attractive alternative for farmers seeking reliability without strings attached. Meanwhile, CNH Industrial, which owns brands like Case IH and New Holland, is making strides with advanced precision agriculture technologies. These innovations directly compete with John Deere's offerings, but come without the same restrictive repair policies. Farmers are noticing, and the shift is becoming increasingly evident in the marketplace. Even Caterpillar, traditionally known for construction equipment, has begun making inroads into the agricultural sector. Leveraging its strong dealer network and customer-centric approach, Caterpillar is positioning itself as a serious contender. This shift is reshaping the industry in ways no one predicted. But what does this mean for John Deere's future? The battle is only just beginning, and the implications go far beyond the competition. John Deere's decline, John Deere's dominance is under threat. But it's not just the competition that's eroding their empire. For decades, John Deere stood unchallenged as the king of agricultural machinery. Farmers swore by its reliability, power, and innovation. But recent years have revealed cracks in the foundation of this agricultural giant. As farmers grow increasingly frustrated with restrictive policies, the effects are starting to show in John Deere's sales and market share. In the third quarter of 2024, John Deere reported a staggering 27.6% decline in sales compared to the same period the previous year. This drop far outpaced the average 15.8% decline experienced by its competitors, signaling a deeper problem within the company. What was once unthinkable, farmers turning away from John Deere, is now becoming a reality. The decline isn't just about numbers, it's about trust. Farmers who feel betrayed by John Deere's policies are exploring alternatives. Competitors like Kubota, HSU, and CNH Industrial have been quick to seize this opportunity, offering more flexible repair options and innovative technologies that cater to farmers' needs. The shift is undeniable, and for John Deere, the consequences could be devastating, and this has a ripple effect far beyond the company's balance sheet. But what happens when an agricultural giant stumbles? The effects aren't confined to the company. They spread across the entire economy. The economic fallout. When farmers struggle, entire communities feel the pain. The restrictive policies of John Deere have created a domino effect that extends well beyond the fields. When farmers are forced to endure costly repairs and downtime, the economic impact ripples through local communities, the national economy, and even global food supply chains. Imagine a farmer in the Midwest, unable to harvest their corn crop on time due to a broken combine. That delay leads to reduced yields, which in turn means less supply for processors who produce corn-based products. The shortages drive up prices for manufacturers, which eventually translate to higher costs for consumers at the grocery store. The result: families paying more for staples like bread, cereals, and even meat. The situation is even more dire for rural communities, where agriculture forms the backbone of the local economy. Family-run farms are often the lifeblood of small towns, driving business for local suppliers, hardware stores, and service providers. When farmers have to spend more on repairs or new equipment, they have less to invest in their communities. Small businesses suffer, and the economic stability of entire regions is weakened. These financial pressures also impact farmers' mental health, compounding an already challenging lifestyle.